Hello, everyone. I'm Ramon Robinson, Senior Marketing Manager for ALA Editions, ALA Neal-Schuman, and Communications Marketing and Media Relations here at ALA. Together with my ALA Editions, ALA Neal-Schuman colleagues, Angela Gasala, our publisher, Rob Christopher, our marketing coordinator, Samantha Kundart, our managing editor, and Sophia Speranza, our publishing associate, I'm pleased to present you with Be the Light, a Spring-Summer 2025 ALA Editions book buzz. Over the next hour, we'll each tell you a little about ourselves and our passions that brought us to ALA before telling you about 25 new and noteworthy ALA editions ALA Neal-Schuman titles that personally excite each of us. All of those titles are available for purchase or pre-order through alastore.ala.org, and they appear in our Spring Summer 25 catalog. The catalog is available exclusively online now at alastore.ala.org/SS25 catalog. Browse it at your leisure to learn about our gift books and professional development resources, which support, long list coming, school libraries, librarianship and information studies, administration, management, library staff empowerment, technology, advocacy, marketing and communications, programs and services, foundational knowledge, information literacy, library instruction, intellectual freedom, copyright, archives and records management, acquisitions and collections management, cataloging, RDA, knowledge and information management, reference and readers advisory, and children's and youth programs and services. Purchase of all our titles fund advocacy, awareness, and accreditation programs for library and information professionals worldwide. And best of all, ALA members receive 10% off the list prices for all of our titles when purchasing directly on the ALA Store website. Now that I've shared a few key FYIs, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our publisher, Angela, to tell you a bit about herself and her picks on the titles in our new catalog. Welcome, Angela.
Thanks, Ramon. Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Guazdala, and I'm the publisher of ALA Editions, ALA Neal-Schuman. In my spare time, I enjoy painting and reading, of course. Altogether, I have 18 years of experience with ALA Editions, and I just remain forever impressed with the passion of my team, my colleagues across ALA, and our members and authors. I'm happy to be here today to talk about a few of my favorite titles from the following categories: school libraries, gift books, and librarianship and information studies. All 5 books I've selected, I feel really demonstrate the range of books we publish and why I see Editions Neal-Schuman as a leader in our field. My first book, Elevating the School Library, Building Positive Perceptions Through Brand Behavior by Susan D. Ballard and Sarah Kelly Johns, is a great partnership book with ASL, proving that branding is not just for celebrities. Elevating the School Library describes how school librarians can use branding as a powerful strategy to clarify their value, connect with their communities, and align their work with the ASL standards. A book list review says, this book provides valuable issues to consider in branding and building loyalty in a school library and useful tools to address those issues. Why I love it? It's practical. It includes templates, checklists, worksheets, all to guide the school librarian when undertaking library branding or working on a rebrand. Next up for me is Library Services and Incarceration, Recognizing Barriers, Strengthening Access, by Jeannie Austin, Jail and Reentry Services Librarian at the San Francisco Public Library. As part of ALA's mission to enhance learning and ensure access to information for all library patrons, our profession needs to come to terms with the consequences of mass incarceration, which have saturated the everyday lives of people in the United States and heavily impact Black, Indigenous, and people of color, LGBTQ people, and people who are in poverty. From a book list review, addresses a niche area of library services in great detail. This current offering is the definitive authority. Why I love it. It combines critical theory and real-world examples to demonstrate how to efficiently serve people impacted by incarceration. And I have a little bit of a bonus title here because I'd be remiss not to mention the 2024 edition of the Standards for Library Services for the Incarcerated or Detained. This was newly updated after 30 years and made available for free by the Mellon Foundation. My third book is a lighter one, 101 Seeds for Library Joy by Rebecca Haas. And library joy is more than a feeling. It's a choice and a call to everyday practices of connection, empowerment, and well-being. And it isn't a heavy lift. In fact, it can all start with a few tiny seeds. Some of the seeds mentioned in the book: schedule time between meetings to breathe, plan an outing this week, think about someone in your work world having a tough time, send a card or text to let them know you're thinking of them. And why I love it: it's fun, it's beautifully designed, and it's bound to give you a boost. And I have a copy in front of me at all times. A side note, ALA Editions just started a merch line, and some of the products are inspired by this particular book. I will drop the link in the chat. My fourth book is The Legacy of Black Women in Librarianship: When They Dared to Be Powerful. This is the debut book in our Critical Cultural Information series, which is edited by Dr. Nicole Cook. This book includes stories of trailblazing Black women who fought racism, sexism, and other hardships in their libraries and communities to become leaders of our profession. The afterword of this book is by Dr. Aisha Johnson, who recently participated in Needy and Neal's book club event. If we could have just 10 minutes of your time, academic library workers and LIS instructors, which is available on ALA's YouTube page. Why I love it: it's an amazing collection. It features women like Henrietta M. Smith, Lucille C. Thomas, and Alice Roberts, just to name a few. The second book in the series, Organize Your Library, will be out later this summer. And my final book goes back to school librarianship and another partner book with AASL. This book will be available at AASL's National Conference this October in St. Louis. School librarians assume so many roles: leader, advocate, instructional partner, teacher, information specialist, and program administrator. And their responsibilities vary widely. Why I like it: it's an A to Z guide, and it's going to become their go-to reference for answering quick questions about daily practice. And it'll be their first stop when diving deeper into key issues. Again, that'll be available this fall. And that's it for my books. And I will now turn the microphone to my colleague, Rob Christopher.
Hey, everybody. My name is Rob Christopher, and I'm marketing coordinator for ALA Editions Neal-Schuman. I've been with ALA for 17 years now, so I guess you could call me an old timer. I've always loved libraries, so sticking with ALA has been kind of a no-brainer. And especially at the moment, I just feel really proud of our team and excited to support the profession. 5 things I love most about my job. I love working with our authors, helping them get the word out about their books. Um, Two, the fact that the work that we do is geared towards real world impact is part of what makes working for ALA so satisfying. 3, we're on the side of the good guys, right? So when I log off at the end of the day, I can feel good about the stuff we're doing. For the profession and for society at large. It's really important that we're fighting for freedom of thought and freedom of information. 4, I love traveling to conferences, working at the ALA store. If you're going to Philly, be sure to stop by and say hi. And 5, our team at Editions is a really tight-knit group. We all really believe in what we're doing, and it just feels wonderful to be working together on all these projects. And I'm going to tell you about 5 of them right now. So in the category of administration and management, Well-Being in the Library Workplace, a handbook for managers, is one book that couldn't be timelier. Fostering well-being in today's libraries' workplaces is no longer a luxury, but a necessity, particularly for managers tasked with guiding and supporting their teams. Amidst budget cuts, attempts to ban or restrict books, attacks on library staff online and in person, and potentially hostile and aggressive patrons, taking care of ourselves and our staff by putting good policies and practices into place is more important than ever. In this book, Bobby L. Newman and her expert contributors will lead you through creating an environment that nurtures the health, satisfaction, and well-being of its workers and helps prevent or reduce the internal factors that create an unhealthy workplace. And I'll go ahead and paste the store page for that book on in the chat here so that you can check that out. Next, my second book in the category of library staff empowerment. I'm really excited about a new collaboration with PLA, Navigating Difficult Situations in Public Libraries, the PLA Guide to Trauma-Informed De-Escalation. Because libraries are community spaces that provide access to information, resources, and programming for people of all ages and backgrounds, conflicts between patrons, verbal or physical altercations, and other difficult situations can occur. These situations can be traumatic for those involved, whether patrons or staff, making it essential that librarians know how to de-escalate them in trauma-informed ways. This hands-on guide is the perfect tool for making sure that library workers are prepared for a variety of common scenarios. This is another book of ours that's just made to be put into practice as soon as you turn the page. So I will paste that in the chat as well, and you can check that out. Thirdly, one highlight of our technology section is the brand new 7th edition of Neal-Schuman Library Technology Companion, a basic guide for library staff. There's a reason this book keeps getting published again and again and again. No matter what stage you're at in your career, you'll discover fresh insights that will guide you in your daily work. You'll learn valuable context drawn from librarians and library staff members sharing how they work with the given technology in their library settings. So really, no matter what your comfort level is with technology and library technology, you're going to learn something new, and you're also going to be brought up to speed with some of the other things that are going on in the field. So there's the link for that one. Now, moving on to another book in our technology section, in the form of generative AI, and I bet you all know about this. Libraries are facing technological transformation of unprecedented speed and scale. Both controversial and disruptive, the sudden ubiquity of AI has already triggered uncertainty as well as the need for rapid adaptation. As AI reshapes how humans learn, work, and interact with information, libraries across the ecosystem, from public to academic, from school to special libraries, must resist the temptation to merely serve as static support and instead claim the center by becoming a dynamic, positive influence. The authors of our forthcoming book, Generative AI in Libraries, Claiming Our Place in the Center of a Shared Future, persuasively argue that libraries are uniquely positioned to lead AI's ethical and human-centered integration within communities. This is one title that won't go out of date no matter how technology evolves, because it's based on the core principles of librarianship, especially the ethical stance we can take as it continues to progress. There's a link for that book. And then to wrap up, I'm going to end with a book from our advocacy/marketing and communications category. United for Libraries workbook, Proving Your Library's Value, Persuasive, Organized, and Memorable Messaging is a small but mighty tool that shares the keys to winning over stakeholders, funders, and partners. You'll learn how to use the 3 E's of libraries: education, employment, entrepreneurship, engagement, and empowerment to quickly demonstrate why your library is essential and worthy of funding. using messaging that is organized, persuasive, and memorable. It includes a variety of worksheets, charts, and prompts to guide you. Proving the value of your library is something that you don't just do once, it's something you have to do over and over again. And this workbook is going to give you the tools and guidance to make that happen. So that concludes my 5 titles I wanted to share with you. Thanks again for letting me talk to you about those for a little bit. And feel free to drop me a line at additionsmarketing@ala.org. And now I will turn it over to the next speaker.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Kunder, the managing editor of ALA Editions, ALA Neal-Schuman. I've been at ALA since 2013 and have been in the publishing industry for nearly 15 years. I've always loved working with the written word. In college, I worked at my university's writers' workshop. I started in publishing as an intern at Cambridge University Press and eventually made my way to a small publishing company in Urbana-Champaign, and then found my way to ALA and ALA Editions. I love ALA's mission and commitment to libraries and library workers. I'm proud of ALA's commitment to intellectual freedom and access to information. Today, I'm going to talk about my 5 picks from our latest catalog, which are from the following categories: programs and services, the Foundation series, and information literacy and library instruction. You can see my selections here. I'll start with the Digital Accessibility Handbook for Libraries by Carly Spina and Rebecca Ulbrich-Oling. This book provides concrete guidance on integrating digital accessibility into all aspects of a library's digital work and serves as your one-stop guide to digital accessibility standards, processes, and best practices. Why I love it. Libraries are here to serve everyone, regardless of an individual's ability, and they allow all community members access to resources. And this is what this book is all about, making your online and digital resources accessible to everyone. You'll be able to learn about a wide range of software and hardware for creating inclusive spaces and services, regardless of your budget limitations or staffing levels. I'd be remiss not to also mention another book on our list titled Serving Patrons with Disabilities, Perspectives and Insights from People with Disabilities, edited by Cody Laskin, which features own voice and focuses on how to make the library more accessible and inclusive. Cody Laskin recently participated in the If We Could Just Have 10 Minutes of Your Time Public Library Workers webinar, which is now available to watch on ALA's YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out to learn more about that title and other works by public library workers. The next title I want to discuss is A Slow Approach to Visual Literacy in Higher Education, Lesson Plans for Critical Discernment by Dana Staton Thompson and Stephanie Bean. This resource presents adaptable lesson plans on visual literacy for educators and librarians in higher education. The authors introduce the principles of slow librarianship, which prioritizes reflection, collaboration, and the importance of slowing down and taking our time to help support deeper learning. Why I love it. It provides dozens of flexible lesson plans for teaching visual literacy, tools that instructors can adapt to their needs. It tackles timely topics like how to distinguish deepfakes, creating images with generative AI tools such as Crayon, creating data visualizations, concept maps, and more. It's also great in that each section provides lessons plans for novice learners, intermediate learners, and advanced learners. The print edition is in black and white, and the ebook is available in color. Next up is Foundations of Intellectual Freedom by Emily J.M. Knox. This book won the 2023 Eli M. Oboler Memorial Award, which recognizes the best published work in intellectual freedom. This title is part of the Foundation series, an ongoing collection of titles designed to introduce key concepts in librarianship to LIS students. Library Journal calls this book an excellent addition to ALA Neal-Schuman's Foundation series. Designed to function as both an introductory text for LIS students, as well as a complementary resource for current professionals, this book provides a cohesive perspective on intellectual freedom. It encompasses such timely and important topics as book banning and internet filtering, pro and anti-censorship arguments and their use in impeding and facilitating access to information, privacy, professional values, and the intersection of intellectual freedom and freedom of expression. Why I love it. It covers a core value of librarianship, which is intellectual freedom, which is a topic that's important to the profession and the basic right for every individual. It's a timely resource on a significant and important topic that every library worker and every LIS student needs the grounding foundation in. Other topics included in this series include library and information science, information law, information literacy, social justice, information ethics, and information policy. Next up, I'm going to talk about critical information literacy applications for all libraries, edited by Julie H. Hornick and Lauren Cahow. This title is currently in production and will be available later this summer, but you can pre-order it now. This edited collection features voices from across the field, including those from public, school, and academic libraries. It provides practical approaches to critical information literacy that all librarians can adopt and adapt to their particular library settings. Why I love it, it emphasizes practical applications and includes ready-to-use lesson plans and outlines. It features a unique chapter that's created fully as a Zine, which helps showcase how Zines are scholarship too. There's a plethora of web extras included with this title that will be available on alaeditions.org/web extras, and that will be made available when the book is live. Inspiring teens, tweens, and families to make a difference in the world, programming to advance sustainable development goals by Amanda Moss-Struckmer is the final title I'd like to discuss. Librarians and educators will find these ready-to-use programming book a powerful and time-saving resource for presenting sustainability-themed events, discussions, community service opportunities, and more. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals identified by the United Nations encompass an ambitious range of issues, such as world hunger, the climate crisis, and gender equality. Creating programming for these topics may feel daunting, but that's where this book comes in. It shares ideas for book clubs, hands-on STEAM projects, movie discussions, guest speakers, and more. Struckmeyer offers accessible entry points for exploration of each goal, and all the program ideas are easily customizable for either public or school library settings. Why I love it, it provides implementable program ideas to educate library users on the Sustainable Development Goals, and it gets teens, tweens, and families thinking about and talking about the goals and how even as an individual, you can make a small difference in the world. And those are my top 5 picks. Thank you for listening to me share these titles with you today. Now over to my colleague Ramon for his favorite titles.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam. That was great. So it's Ramon Robinson again. Some things that might be useful to know about me in order to understand why I've selected each of the 5 titles I'll discuss are that, one, I've been with ALA continuously for over 5 years, including with ALA Digital Reference from just before the pandemic to fall 22. ALA Editions from fall 22 to present, and CMMO, the Communications Marketing and Media Relations Office, since fall of 24. I've been in the association role for many more years, including organizations dedicated to healthcare, law, and public policy. And for a decade cumulatively, I've also been very active as a volunteer leader for the healthcare advocacy organizations, the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network, and the National Pancreas Foundation. I'm very passionate about film, vintage television, and early 20th century history, and I've been an avid collector of books and memorabilia connected to those topics for decades now. It should probably come as no surprise then that I support the ability of patrons anywhere in the world to access the archives, collections, records, and other information they want without having to worry about censorship or privacy violations. That said, my first pick among our titles is The Ultimate Privacy Field Guide, a workbook of best practices, which was written by Aaron Berman. To further explain why, I'll tell you something I really love about ALA Editions. Neal-Schuman is an imprint. It's that our titles address issues of concern across multiple library spaces, whether they be academic, public, school, special, or beyond, and they often do so with tremendous foresight. The Ultimate Privacy Field Guide is a prime example of this. Published in 22, it remains a reliable resource now in 2025. It's designed for use in school, public, and academic settings of all types and sizes, and it's an easy-to-use workbook packed with practical hands-on exercises to guide library workers to create a more privacy-focused library. My second pick among our titles is Prepared Libraries Empower Teams, a workbook for navigating intellectual freedom challenges together, which is written by Becky Calzada, Val Edwards, and Megan Kaufenheidel. Those co-authors, like the authors of many editions titles, are committed to the implementation of partnership strategies that unite librarians with people in other professional and social spaces. This year, one of the authors of the book, Becky Calzada, took the book to South by Southwest, the Sundance Film Festival, and multiple ALA conferences to help raise awareness for and build partnerships in the fight for intellectual freedom. She did this while promoting The Librarians, which is a documentary about herself and other librarians, including Emily Dubinsky, advocating for the freedom to read, and it's very much in keeping with the mission of her book. Earlier this year, her co-authors, Megan and Val, along with her, also presented our virtual program, 60 Tips for School and Youth Services in 60 Minutes, which you can also watch on the ALA's main YouTube page. Assisting library workers in creating their own challenge readiness roadmap to prepare libraries and power teams, a workbook for navigating intellectual freedom challenges together, is proving to be an essential resource for librarians and other educators in their efforts to incorporate challenge books into their collections and their curricula. Now, my third pick among our titles is Building Representative Community Archives, Inclusive Strategies and Practice, which was edited by Hannah Lee Crumet. The recency of this title and our ongoing efforts to share it with the world reflect the fact that as a publisher, our commitment to diversity, inclusion, and social justice is only growing. We know that EDISJ is essential to the progress of the LIS profession and the value of libraries to the communities they serve, and we have not been deterred from duly serving the profession. Emblematic of our imprint, the book Building Representative Community Archives examines continuing efforts in archives across the U.S. to build inclusive records that better represent the disparate histories of this country. It details varying approaches to uplifting community and activist archives that are working to preserve parallel histories, outlining in that way a way forward that will help special collections librarians as they design projects in the future. One of its contributors, Zoe Mahan, was a presenter in the live and virtual iterations of our edition's recent program, 72 Tips for Academic Libraries in 72 Minutes, which you can also watch on the ALA's main YouTube page for free, of course. My fourth pick among our titles is the third edition of Records and Information Management, which was written by Pat C. Franks, or Patricia C. Franks. Here's some critical backstory on this pick. Our authors are some of the most highly esteemed experts in their fields with demonstrated commitments to continued self-education and engagement with emerging topics throughout their careers. Pat is a legendary leader among them in records and information management. She's a professor at Murata at San Jose State University, where she teaches courses in enterprise content management and digital preservation. She's a past president of the National Association of Government Archivists and Records Administrators, or NAGARA, and the upstate New York chapter of ARMA International, ARMA. She is the sole editor of the Handbook of Archival Practice and a co-editor of the Encyclopedia of Archival Science, the International Directory of National Archives, Teaching and Learning in Virtual Environments, Archives, Museums, and Libraries, and the Encyclopedia of Archival Writers, 1500 to 2015, the second edition of which will be released next year in 2026. She is a member of the CIGO Association Board of Directors and Preservic's Digital Preservation Sustainability Council. She does so much. Her research interests are related to emerging technology and its impact on records and information management. I could just go on and on about Pat's bio. She's written and spoken widely on topics of social media, cloud computing, blockchain technology, information governance, data governance, and of course AI, which she is super passionate about. Now, as for the book, widely acknowledged as the benchmark text for both students and RIM professionals, the new edition of Records and Information Management updates this authoritative blend of theory and practice to reflect the field's dynamically evolving environment, including the rapid rise of applications powered by AI and ML. PAT represents complete coverage of the records and information lifecycle model, encompassing paper, electronic, and new media records, while acknowledging the influence of emerging and developing technologies and encouraging new ways of meeting the resulting challenges. If you happen to be an LAS instructor, especially in RIM, or know someone who is, contact Editions Marketing at ALA.org to learn about adopting Pat's book as a textbook. Now we come to my fifth and final pick among our titles, which is Fundamentals of Collection Development and Management, written by Peggy Johnson and Mary Beth Weber, two other luminaries in the field. To explain the reasoning behind this pick, I'll first tell you that through their accessible formats and writing styles and comprehensive approaches, many of our titles serve as excellent resources both for LAS students and practitioners. Fundamentals of Collection Development and Management is an excellent example of this. Throughout it, readers will gain a thorough understanding of traditional management topics such as organization of the collection, staffing, planning, and policymaking, the continuing relevance and importance of the discipline in an increasingly digital environment, open access, the Big Ten Open Books collection, and moving towards a digital library ownership model, ebook lending, including purchasing models such as PDA, DDA, and EBA, and controlled digital lending, collaborative collection development and management, licenses, negotiation contracts, maintaining productive relationships with vendors and publishers, and other important financial topics. Self-publishing books and their path to interlibrary collections as self-published authors. Collection analysis and reading, including both print and e-resources, and timely issues such as the ways in which collecting practices have changed post-pandemic, the evolving needs and expectations of library users, diversity in library collections, again, so important to us as an imprint, and ensuring accessibility, which is all illustrated using examples and data. So those are my top 5 picks, and they're all out and shipping via the ALA store website right now, as well as through many of our vendors. To tell you about several of our outstanding titles in cataloging, RDA, knowledge and information management, as well as reference and readers advisory, and children's and youth programs and services, I'll now give the floor to my amazing colleague, Sophia Speranza.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia Speranza. I work as a publishing associate for ALA Editions, ALA Neal-Schuman, and I also do work for ALA Graphics and ALA Digital Reference. I studied creative writing in college, and I've always gravitated towards books, writing, and social justice issues in my professional life. These interests, as well as experience in independent bookselling and social media management, led me to ALA in 2023, so about 2 years. I'm passionate about literacy, information access, and community care, and the titles we publish at ALA Editions Neal-Schuman address these topics and more with compassion, clarity, and enthusiasm. To speak about some titles in the categories that Ramon mentioned, my first pick, Inclusive Cataloging, Histories, Context, and Reparative Approaches, edited by Amber Billy, Elizabeth Nelson, Rebecca Ull, and this is a core title, so we have the core partnership on this one. I love this book. I love the cover. From the ALA store, I have a quote, "Filling a gap in the literature. This volume provides librarians and catalogers with practical approaches to reparative cataloging, as well as a broader understanding of the topic and its place in the technical services landscape." I think this book is really awesome and valuable because it takes a huge topic and examines it from multiple perspectives. It also addresses EDISJ topics in library history in a really direct way, how issues like race, disability, and things like that impact the way that certain systems operate in the cataloging world, in library world. So I think it's a very powerful title that can make a huge difference in the way things operate in the cataloging world. There are a bunch of case studies. There's a lot of discussion of the context, and there's a lot of discussion of the theoretical frameworks that go into this inclusive cataloging approach. My second title, Using Literature to Support Children's Mental Health by Kim Becknell and Robin A. Muller. From the ALA store. In this valuable collection, librarians, educators, parents, counselors, and caregivers will find practical guidance on leveraging quality children's literature to support the mental health needs of students, families, and communities. Another beautiful cover. This book I love so much because it provides librarians with tools from a wide variety of perspectives, from community care perspectives, how to socially support children, and strategically using children's literature in a way that can start conversations with children about big topics that might be too scary to even think about. So COVID-19 is a huge focus of this. There's also a lot of examples of specific instances in which children might need support and how, like, death of a close loved one, something like that, that books can be used to process big emotions in library settings. I think this is a really relevant title much needed right now. And I think our children deserve that level of care and support. My next title that I'd like to discuss is, this is part of a series, the Civil Rights Movement. It's the Discover and Learn with the Library of Congress series. This particular book is designed to support state curricula and teaching standards. It's full color, and it combines facsimiles of primary sources from the library's unparalleled collections with source citations, information about the source's origins, teaching strategies, and guides to additional online resources. This partnership with the Library of Congress has a lot of valuable information, both joining the online Library of Congress archive and looking at actual physical primary sources is the focus of the book. And there are so many interactive parts of it that make it seem like a super helpful resource and tool for teachers and librarians to start discussions and critical thinking skills with children as they're learning about these important historical documents and such. We have another part of the series coming out, and for my next title, The Popular Librarian's Guide to Bibliotherapy by Judith A. Ward and Nicholas A. Allred. The bibliotherapy-informed practices, programs, and events outlined in this guide will help librarians support the mental health and personal growth of their patrons. So this book is a super helpful guide for librarians to use books in all different ways and contexts. So maybe helping an individual patron, or maybe guiding a book discussion that is focused on something therapeutic. I love this title because it focuses on more diverse programming options and talks about community engagement, maybe getting patrons who aren't super confident or comfortable in the space to connect through books. I also just think, just like the using literature to support children's mental health, this is just another example of a book that we published that is a tool for emotional processing and development, which is something that librarians seem to have to deal with quite often and might need more tools for. I think this is really awesome. This is also not just for children. This is bibliotherapy for all ages. And I think that's really awesome as well. All right, and then my last title, Maxwell's Handbook for RDA, Explaining and Illustrating RDA Resource Description and Access Using MARC 21. This is the second edition by Robert L. Maxwell. I think it's really awesome that ALA Editions, Neal-Schuman, we publish books about RDA. They are the go-to resources for learning about RDA, and because things shift so quickly and technology shifts so quickly, there is a lot of new valuable information in the second edition, which will be coming out in fall 2026. There's updates, examples, and the previous edition received the ABC Clio Award for Best Book in Library Literature back when it was published. So I am really excited to see how this one turns out. And because I work with ALA Digital Reference, I do work with the RDA team, doing some smaller administrative type tasks. But because I participate in that unit, I also really value the RDA books that we publish because it helps the RDA team too. And those are my 5 titles. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Sophia. That was amazing. And that is Be the Light, a Spring Summer 2025 ALA Editions Book Buzz, folks. Many thanks again to my colleagues, Angela Gustala, Rob Christopher, Samantha Kundar, and Sophia Speranza for sharing a bit about themselves and their favorite titles in the ALA Editions Neal-Schuman imprint, along with me today. In closing, we want to encourage you again to browse our full Spring Summer 2025 digital catalog so that you can see many of our other fantastic titles that we couldn't cover in depth during this 1 hour, actually 45 minutes program. The catalog can be perused at alastore.ala.org/SS25 catalog. Again, that's alastore.ala.org/SS25 catalog. Please feel welcome to contact Editions Marketing at ala.org to inquire about bulk purchasing opportunities and special promotions for any titles you see there or elsewhere in the ALA store website, or that just excited you a lot from today's program. Thanks again for listening and watching, and we hope that you all have a wonderful day, and we'll all wave goodbye now.